I'll back up. I got drunk with Nicholas Sparks one night.
That's a good guy to get drunk with. I would like to get drunk with Nicholas Sparks. Hi, it's Paige. We're with As the Page Turns, and we have a very special guest today, Chris Harrison. You might know him from The Bachelor. I knew you from The Bachelor, but you did other stuff before The Bachelor too, didn't you?
I had a whole life.
Yeah.
The Bachelor was kind of the top 5% of the iceberg that you see. And then there was the 90% that you don't see, which was started my career as a sportscaster, moved out to LA to start up a horse racing network, did Designers Challenge on HGTV, did a game show on Game Show Network.
Wow.
All kinds of stuff that led into then
What year did we start doing this?
It was like sportscasting?
Yeah.
93 when I
93?
graduated. Yeah, I graduated college in 93 and went right into sportscasting.
For
in
ESPN?
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, oh wow.
The CBS affiliate, KWTV, Oklahoma City, Channel 9.
Oh, so you were doing journalists and you were kind of moving different markets, moving into different cities?
I thought I was going to have to move to different markets. I got very fortunate to meet my mentor, Bill Tegans, in school. I was a soccer player, which is how I kind of got into sportscasting at Oklahoma City University, the Harvard of the Midwest, as they call it. And through him, I started interning and got very fortunate to get a job in Oklahoma City, which is, it's top 50 market. It was big time TV, done very well, but at a market size that still allowed you to cut your teeth and make a few mistakes and not be completely crucified.
It wasn't
for
like you were going to Manhattan day one.
And then I ended up in LA. I had a job offer in LA to start up a horse racing network, and I thought, I can always go home. Like, why not? Let's just go to LA. I'd never been to California in my life.
How long were you there then? Until 18?
99 through 2020.
2020.
So a good 22-year run.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I don't know the whole Bachelor story. Tell me how that happened, how that started.
I was doing a bunch of other shows. There's always a list in Hollywood, or at least there used to be. I don't know how things are done in Hollywood anymore, but
me neither.
There used to be, you're on the list and we're looking at these people, and there was this relationship show. And all I knew is later it was from the guy that did Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire?
Oh my
which
God.
was on Fox with
Yes.
Rick Rockwell and Darva
Yes.
Conger, which was a rating success, but a disaster publicly because it turns out he wasn't a multimillionaire. There was a restraining order, et cetera, et cetera.
Or you could call it good TV.
Yeah, but this is before there was background checks and all that. So before they had all that.
I worked at Jenny Jones.
Okay, so there you go.
So I remember all that.
So it was a bit messy, but it was still a rating success. But he was blacklisted. The creator of the show was blacklisted and ostracized. But he came back around later with the idea of The Bachelor. And so that's all I knew is the guy that did that mess on Fox is doing this show for ABC. And
what a perfect time,
Yeah,
too. Like,
it was.
right when reality competition was Survivor was just taking
That was
off.
it. Survivor.
I know. And I feel like it was like the perfect time to have that show. What a great...
It was the time, timing's everything. With the whole Bachelor phenomenon was timing was everything, because we created a show that was so socially and, topically relevant for social media, and it didn't exist.
Not yet.
You could write a blog back then. So back in 2001, 2002 is when we premiered, and so there was no there wasn't
Facebook yet.
MySpace. Maybe MySpace existed.
Friendster, I remember. But nobody was talking about stuff on those platforms.
No, what was big was Entertainment Tonight, People Magazine, Us Magazine.
Hard copy.
Those
I totally watched that show.
But those things were huge, and that's how you really still did things. It was still antiquated back then. We would do a bunch of interviews, and people would come on set and do a set visit and show you around the mansion. That was still relevant back then, as opposed to now just holding my phone and going, look where we are. And so we created something that was so pop culture relevant at a time when they, 12 years later, it
was
hit.
almost like you were ahead of it.
We were way ahead of the time. Yeah, way ahead of it.
And then because you were there for so many years, did you see how that shifted when social media boomed? Like, tell me a story.
I don't know when it was, but I think back to like a Trista and Ryan. She was our first Bachelorette.
Yeah. And they got married.
We had 30 plus million viewers. The number one show on TV by far, one of the biggest shows in the world. And this woman, Trista, who's a good friend, I think, what if there was social media? Because there wasn't.
It might have destroyed the whole thing.
Well, she would be worth $1 billion.
Oh, or that.
Because we created influencers before influencers existed. Trista got some deals, some advertising stuff here and there. You'd go open a bar, or you would maybe show up at a wedding shop or something like that. But that's all there was. Then flash forward to like 2012, 2015, and women who were half as popular, there was a fraction of the audience, get millions of viewers and make millions of dollars. We created so many 7-figure deals for so many women. I mean, we created so many multimillionaires out of this show. It's astounding.
What about the men? What about the Bachelors?
Men aren't very marketable. Men don't sell. They don't. Men aren't interesting. We're not smart animals, and we're not marketable.
You said it. I mean,
no, honestly, the female-driven content is so much more successful than men. And I find that for my own, luckily I kind of piggybacked off of it, but it's harder for me to go sell. And when I do sell stuff, it is female-driven stuff.
Females are bigger consumers in general too, aren't
well,
they?
that's the golden, as you know, in demos, not to bore everybody to death, but the golden ticket is that 18 to 54-year-old female audience.
Hence romance. Which when I heard you'd written a book, I was like, what year did he write this book?
2015.
I'm like, 2015. Yeah. And then you were doing it in the middle of The Bachelor. Was a lot of The Bachelor like what you were seeing on the show kind of like a segue to this? Because this was romantic suspense. This was, which is my jam, actually. I love dark romance and romantic suspense, third person, but told very well in the third person, because now first person is everything. And I thought it was so good in the third person, the way you wrote it. And I'm not just tooting your horn, I really did. I'm giving you an honest review here that like, sometimes when I'm reading the third person, I'm like, wait, whose dialogue is it? Who's talking?
Right.
Never a confused moment. Tell me about the writing, because I was like super impressed.
First of all, thank you. And a lot of thought went into, I'll back up. I got drunk with Nicholas Sparks one night.
That's a good guy to get drunk with. I would like to get drunk with Nicholas Sparks.
We were at a golf tournament in San Diego, and Nicholas Sparks was wanting to start his own golf tournament in North Carolina. And I was at this, I think it was Drew Brees, the quarterback of then the Chargers.
Oh.
Yeah, this is before New Orleans.
Okay.
This is a long time ago. And Nicholas Sparks was there, and we were just drinking some wine, and we had a little too much wine, and we were sitting around the fire and chatting, and he goes, we kind of do the same thing, just different mediums. I'm obviously writing, and you're on television, but we're essentially storytellers. And because that is what good producing is on TV. You're just storytelling. And he's like, that's what I do, and I think The Notebook is probably the best romance novel ever written, which is very interesting that kind of an old white guy is tapping into love like that. He's such an amazing romance writer. So we're by this fire, and he goes, Chris, you should write a romance novel. And I was like, come on, I've never written a book. Like, why would I, that's crazy. He's like, no. He's like, we could power this out right now. And,
did he help you write this?
Well, this is the only sad thing about this. No, he did not. But I did call him later, and because we had exchanged text messages and emails, and he was always good about getting back. And I said, hey, would you possibly write the foreword to this book? Because you are the impetus of this happening. If not for you, Nicholas Sparks, I never would have done it. I had been approached by a lot of my agent and a lot of agencies and stuff about doing a book. But it was always a dating book, that how-to thing. Which probably would have done incredibly well as well. It would have, but I saw my life of the next 20 years of my life going on GMA, going on all these shows. Chris, what are your top 10 dating tips? And And I'm just like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I never wanted to people that tell you how to live your life and act like they're experts and have it all figured out always annoyed me a little bit. Of like, well, this is the way. I have it figured out. I am smarter than all. And if you do these 3 things, you'll have it, and I'm like, life's not that simple. And so I never wanted to be that guy of, look, ladies, if you do these 10 things, you'll find love. Because
I love that you didn't do that, actually.
Well, if I learned anything on The Bachelor, it's not that simple. And it's usually a train wreck.
Especially if it's in front of a lot of people.
But there is this insatiable appetite for love. And there's an insatiable appetite for
Why
romance.
do you think that is? I have a theory. Why do you think it is?
Well, it's as old as time. We're tribal people, no matter where you are in the world. And there's one thing that culturally, race, religion, it doesn't matter. We all yearn for companionship. We need people. We need love, and we need people in our lives, and we yearn for that.
I always say that love levels the playing field.
Yeah.
You can buy people, but you can't buy chemistry. And that's why I think human beings like it so much.
Well, that's why, at the end of our show at The Bachelor, I said, you can be on a hot air balloon, you can be on a beach, but at the end of the day, there's these 2 people, and I don't want to go all Notting Hill, but Notting Hill is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Great movie.
But it's at the end of the day, you're just, a girl standing in front of a boy hoping he loves her. And that's what The Bachelor was. You could be in Zermatt on the top of the Matterhorn, but it's still these two people going, do you love me? Because I love,
Is it magic?
I love you.
Is it
yeah,
magic?
It's like, don't break my heart. And inevitably there is heartbreak. And that's something else we can all relate to is the heartbreak.
I actually feel like you become a whole person when you have your heart kind of ripped out. Like if somebody's never had like a full heartbreak,
yeah.
I'm like, have you really totally
haven't
lived it all?
No.
Because heartbreak is like peeling you off the floor.
The idea behind the book came from, what I learned over then it was 15 years of the show, which is a love triangle. And it was our ability to love more than one person at the same time. Because that's what the show does. The whole idea of The
Truly.
Bachelor is you're falling in love with more than one person. And what I realized, at first, if you had asked me when I started The Bachelor, I was like, no, you fall in love with one person. Like that is your soulmate and that's the thing. And then I realized, wow, people kind of spark different things in you, and you can tell this girl on a date, I love you, and mean it. And then go on the next date and be like, I love you, and truly mean it. And at the end of the day, maybe the scales aren't exactly even as far as love goes, and so you have to decide what matters to you and what do you see. And I always found that fascinating, and that was where this book took me, that's the premise of the book.
their story.
There is on paper, the perfect husband. This
Doesn't exist.
High society, New York, publishing.
Right
school.
All of it.
You're going to have the greatest life. And then there's just that love that just you can't get rid of. It's just in you. And it's like you would live in a trailer with this person. So how you manage that? And
you wrote it right. I mean, that is the way. I knew it was them. I mean, obviously I knew it was them. She was never going to end up with that guy. She said she didn't even say yes when he proposed. So we knew where that was going. I love a love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
I love a love triangle. I love how you sort of develop the stories. I was surprised in a couple of moments. I did think the older gentleman maybe had something to do with her past, who had written the military book. Mm-hmm. But then I sort of loved how you tied him in, what you didn't do that a lot of romance authors do is you didn't have an epilogue. You didn't have an epilogue. Yeah. I always want that HEA, because that is the difference between a love story. Like Nicholas Sparks, he's not just a romance writer. He writes love stories because it can be tragic.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between a love story and a romance. It has to have an HEA if it's a romance. Right. But a lot of romances give you the epilogue because they want you to seal the deal. Like, I need to know that her publishing company took off. Right. I need to know that they got married and that their 2-year-old was going to be the ring bearer. Like, I needed to know that.
It's funny, the whole book, and you mentioned the gentleman that wrote the military book, that was, so everything in the book was very personal. And so that man represented all the men in my life.
Oh, really?
My dad, my brother, my grandfather, who was my hero in life, and people I looked up to. This guy was the culmination. He was kind of the true north, and that's what I wanted to make. He was always her true north. He's like, this guy's always going to lead you in the right direction.
Solid.
Yeah, he's solid, just virtuous, and you need that. And she needed that because she's wavering back and forth and making mistakes, and life's messy. And the other thing that I didn't do on purpose, I guess, but I guess purposefully I did, was I got this question at one of the first book signings. Why did you make a female protagonist? And I had never thought about it. It just came so natural to me. And I think I look back, if I was sitting on a sofa with my doctor, I would say, I had a lot of strong women in my life. My mom, my grandmother was unbelievably strong, just brilliant women. And so it never dawned on me to not have a female protagonist. And then I look back, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me any other way. And so, but it surprised some of the press and the people covering the book that that's the tact I took and the direction. And Lee Merriweather, I don't know if you know who that is. Lee Merrill is the name of the book.
Yeah, Lee Merrill, yeah.
She's the protagonist, but Lee Merriweather is who is kind of based on, and she was the original Catwoman. Miss America.
Oh, in the 60s?
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Who I befriended, and she became, so I was the host of Miss America for a long time. I
didn't know that.
I was actually the second longest running host next to Burt Parks of Miss America.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't
just been around beautiful women your whole life.
That was kind of the thing for a while. I was always around 50 or more beautiful women at all times. But I was hosting Miss America. And
you stayed a gentleman, a perfect gentleman. I have to say, you're a very impressive person.
Thanks to the strong women in my life. But Lee Merriweather became a very good friend of mine, and she was really behind me when I started hosting Miss America. And she is one of those women. If you've go look her up, kids, go Google Lee Merriweather.
I'm gonna after this.
And by the way, back in the day too, she was the original in the cat suit, like
she's beautiful.
stunning.
I do remember her, but I don't know anything about her.
She personifies grace, beauty in womanhood, and she's brilliant, smart, strong, all those things. And we became good friends in later years in her life, and she's just magnificent. And she's one of those people. It's like a Clooney. When they walk in the room, you just know, like the air changes.
There's a magnetism.
Yeah, that was Lee Merriweather. And so that's what Lee Merrill was named after in the book.
That's cool. What about him?
The bad boy or the good?
No, he wasn't really
Jake?
bad. He just had
he
bad
wasn't.
parents, Jake. And I felt bad because she didn't have, I felt like that's why you wrote the military character as well, is because she didn't have a strong male figure. She didn't know who her father was. And her grandfather, he was a little bit shady.
Yeah.
Sort of. Like, I don't think he necessarily, and you don't really say whether he kind of knew that those guys he hired were off, but I get the impression he kind of probably did.
Yeah, the grandfather was tough for me because my grandfather was like everything to me. And so I'm like, I wanted to write my grandfather, but I couldn't. And so that was the military guy who came in. I'm like, okay, I need somebody who was the true north to.
No, he was a perfect.
For no other reason. It was honestly just me. And, I did a lot of things in the book that were ripped from my life. Like I was dating at the time, I was single. And so there was a date here in Austin. I was dating a girl in Austin at the time.
Really?
Which is why I've always had a love affair with Austin. How apropos that this whole thing
takes place in Austin.
Before I moved here.
What was the town? That was a small town outside of Austin. What did you model that after?
I mean,
or is it just a bunch of different towns?
It's like I used to go out to Bernie. I used to go out to like Fredericksburg back in the day before it was what it is now,
it's
and all that.
commercialized
all
now.
that stuff. And so it's just the outskirts, the outlying towns, but I went on a date with this girl, and we went to have Mexican food, and the music was playing, and I went through, but it's like, okay, is it Robert Earl Keen? Is it Lyle Lovett? Is it James Taylor? And so like people I love, I was like, okay, I'm going to put this in the book, because I remember like coming into, and I forget the name of the Mexican place, but they do the shots are in chili peppers. They actually fill a chili pepper with a shot of tequila, and you take a shot. It's like right down here on 6th Street.
Is it still happen?
Yeah, 100%. I
don't know this place.
I took my new wife, Lauren Zima, to this place, and I was like, this was in the book. I had a date here one time. And so that's why Austin, and I've always just thought Austin had this, I'm from Dallas, so with all due respect, but Austin's just more romantic.
It's a cooler city. Dallas is Beverly Hills of Texas.
Dallas is a great place to be from.
We have to talk about Lauren, because she's like the love of your life. Exactly. Tell me about Lauren.
The greatest story ever written is she was at Entertainment Tonight hosting, and she covered, it was later I used to think, okay, she likes the show, that's why she was covering The Bachelor. Turns out no, she was doing people a favor and gave someone Housewives, which she really loved, and then she was like, well, I'll take The Bachelor, no one's done anything with this, and she took it and then covered it, did Roses and Rosé, which became the biggest digital thing on CBS and in the history of CBS, and just killed it. But she was married, I was dating somebody, and timing just wasn't right. But I always remembered her being brilliant and being a great interviewer, which if you've done 20 years and thousands of interviews, you just kind of gloss over and you quit thinking and listening. And she would always test you. She would always push you. And I'm like, every time I sat down with her, I'm like, I got to pay attention. Like, she's sharp. And then eventually just timing changed, and she got divorced, and I was broken up. And what I thought was a moment where she was hitting on me was not. That was my male ego seeing that. And I humbly have to say that now. But she asked me in an interview, we were at Winter Games in Vermont, and I was hosting, and she's like, sitting down for Entertainment Tonight. She's like, so are you dating somebody? Are you single? And I was like, oh, like, no, I am single. Like, why? You got someone for me? I thought she was being flirty. She wasn't. The news desk had told her, we think Chris is dating someone. Let's get to the bottom of it. She's just going through answers. And so, but then I kind of saw her differently. And the next time she interviewed me, she's like, is he flirting with me? And I started flirting with her. And then we ran into each other on set. We shoot the tell-all shows, and they take all day. And so I went out to craft services to get a cup of tea, and she happened to show up, which she said was on purpose. And we had our first like real in-depth conversation. And
maybe she was subconsciously flirting with you.
Well,
she was opening up a door.
At that point, she was. And then it was my birthday, so she kind of slid into my DMs that night.
I love that she slid into your DMs.
After that, she's like, oh, happy birthday, whatever. And I was like, I quickly, wisely, pro tip, get it off the DMs. I'm like, can I have your number? I'd love to call you. Like, let's go have a drink. And then we started dating.
That's generational too, I feel like.
I know.
I mean, I watch, I'm just glad that like dating is so far behind me forever.
Oh my God.
Love you, Colby.
Truly.
And I actually kind of feel sorry a little bit for the generation. It's a hard world to date.
No, I was single in LA, which was not fun in my 40s when I got divorced. And I thought I was going to end up on like Dateline, like a serial killer, because I had the gall to call somebody. And then, this is crazy, I said, should I pick you up? Now
that you have to meet somewhere
only
nowadays?
A serial killer does that apparently. I don't know. It's like, I started talking
Can I see your house?
I started talking to girlfriends and they were like, no, dude, no, you don't pick us up now. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's what killers do.
Did you pay for the date?
Of course, yes,
See?
always. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
I'm a firm believer in
I was
chivalry.
going to call you, ask you out. I was going to pick you up, take you, and then take you home, and make sure you get home. That's kind of old school, what I was taught to do. No, that's what killers do. So I had to adjust my game.
But if you read these books, they all do it.
Thank you.
And you know what? We all love it.
But I don't know if you watch romantic comedies as much as I do. And
I do.
I love love.
I can tell after reading this.
And so
even The Spice was written like every woman author I've ever read. I was like, wow, he is like in touch. That's what made me think of like the Jack Nicholson thing. I was like, how is he in touch that he can write The Spice so well?
That was easily the hardest thing in the world to do. So
you didn't enjoy writing The Spice, or did you need a couple of drinks?
No, I didn't like it. It was so hard. And then can I tell you the most embarrassing part?
Yes.
Do you know who
Please.
do you know who I ran them by to make sure they were okay?
Nicholas Sparks? No.
My mom.
I'm impressed that you gave your mom The Spice. I know authors that are like, Mom can't read this.
So I wrote this book, and my mom is a bigger reader than you. I mean, reads everything love. I mean, psychotically.
I love your mom. I need to meet your mom.
And so Mary Beth, God bless her,
Let's bring her in.
I said, because you write, and I don't know if you've ever sat down and like written, but it's like
Not
anything.
like that.
It's like painting or whatever. It's like after a while, it means nothing to you. You've written it and read it and rewritten it and read it so many times that something you love to begin with, I'm like, I hate this and I want this whole thing out of the book. So I started picking people in my life, and I would only let one person see it, and then I would go to the next person because I wanted fresh eyes. I wanted you to read this scene, and then I would go to the next person because after
Beta readers.
Well, after you read something like 20 times, you're like, I hate this. And then someone
you can't be objective
Right.
either when it's yourself doing it.
And then someone would read it and go, no, I love that. I'm like, okay, good. I did too when I first wrote it. Now I despise. But the sex scenes are so hard because
Your mom nailed it then.
well, and then there's always a word, and I never use this, but let's just say the word moist. And it's like, okay, you would write a word and you'd start reading this love scene back. You're like, ooh, no, that word just has this horrible connotation. So you rewrite it and use another word. You're like, I don't even know what that means. It's too businesslike. And so writing love scenes, you would think would be the easiest part, is the absolute hardest thing. Sit down tonight, go write a love scene. And just
You mean a sex scene?
A sex scene, yes.
Sex.
Because I wanted it to be that you have that visceral feel to it, but without being 50 Shades. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted
50 Shades was spicy and good, and yes, I can see she used a lot of the same language. It was her first book, but she really, just to speak gracefully of E.L. James, who I think is a superstar, and everyone in the community worships and adores her because of what she did for the indie community and everything else. She did a lot. Just reading all the spicy, and somebody actually sent me, and I'm gonna have to show it to you after this interview, a polling of all the words you prefer to hear in books, like core, slick folds, which is kind of one of my favorites.
Well, now you could just, again, you could AI, hey, what are the best sexy words people love to hear? And it'd be like, do.
Oh, I have the list. I can give it to you for your next book.
Now you get to cheat. Back then, you had to send it to your mom. My
You know
mom
what?
was
I still
AI
think you
back
should
then.
send it to your mom if you write another book. Are you going to write another one? This can be an interconnected.
We talked about it, and
And her friend is the next story.
Yeah. It's funny.
I love The Friend, and I feel like she should have her own story, and that's your next book.
I wanted her.
Just from me to you.
The friend in there, pink hair. She's awesome. She represents the city of Austin.
Artist, kooky, some musician,
Yeah.
creative. She definitely needs a love story.
Yeah.
She definitely needs a love story with
And she was also the girl that, she needed a friend Lee did, because Lee's brilliant. But I also learned in the show that we are our own worst enemy. We always are, and you need someone to slap you upside the head and be like, what the hell are you doing? And
A good friend.
yeah, a good friend that'll call you and call you on your BS.
So we're playing this game. It's reality competition in a way, right? Which is your
Yes.
jam. And we're going to remove each tape to see what our favorite tropes are, what your favorite trope
And
is.
and what trope will advance?
Of course.
And this is the championship. So second chance,
Oh, second chance.
single parent. I'm gonna go single
Wow, like a single dad?
dad because
Yeah.
I was, and that's how I found love. He's
Soulmates?
actually-
Always love a soulmate.
Okay.
Isn't everything kind of a soulmate though? Is that even a trope? Oh no, I'm gonna have to go with soulmates. I love romantasy. I love it.
I like soulmates. It's better.
I like soulmates better too though.
Why choose enemies to? Oh, I love. I
enemies
love a good
to
movie.
lovers.
I love a good movie.
Oh, what's an enemies to
E-
lovers movie that we love? Harry Met Sally, kind of in the
It
beginning,
is.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're
She hates
enemies
them.
to
Oh, totally.
friends
She
and then
hates
friends
Billy
to
Crystal.
lover. Yeah.
Do you know what Why Choose is?
Why choose?
Yeah, why choose is like where they're all in love with her. So it's like every woman's fantasy, right? And she's in love with them all, and they've all accepted the way that this is going to be.
What I learned on the
I have some of the art.
But what I
Why
learned on The
choose?
Bachelorette is that's not good. Because
No,
everyone's
it's only a fantasy.
Yeah, it's only a fantasy, and in reality, it doesn't work out.
Brothers, best friend, or mafia. That's hard for me because I like them both. It depends. I'm a mood reader when it comes to contemporary
Yeah.
romance, but I also want to like.
Is mafia referring to anything other than mafia?
Well, it's just like he's going to kill him
Yeah.
for you.
Okay.
And I sort of like that too.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and murder him
sure.
for me. I'm going to be okay with that. So I'm going to write Mafia for this one.
I heard something very interesting. Tell me if you think this is true. Like, you need to feel like the guy you're in love with is capable of violence.
Yes.
Like, he's not going to. He's not going to kill anybody.
You need to know that he would do it for you.
would do it.
It's not even that he's capable. It's just like he loves you so much.
he would
he
kill
will
for you.
rip a man's arms off
Yes.
because adrenaline will take
Right.
over. And I agree. Yes, that's true.
Academic rivals? Reverse harem. I'm going reverse. Reverse harem. I think it's going to get beat in the next round no matter what.
Well, if you
this
read
is.
paranormal and like some of that
Yeah.
sci-fi romance, reverse harem's very
Oh,
much
I have my choice for yours. We'll see what you choose.
dark romance.
Okay.
I mean, I love small town,
Yeah.
and yours was
I'm
small
small
town.
town.
But
Although
it's
Austin's-
hard for me. It depends. There's two kinds of dark romances.
Yeah.
And yours had some darkness
Yeah,
too,
no, it did. Of
right?
course
I mean,
it did.
he took
There's
the heat
murder.
for her murder.
There's murder. That's why, like you said, Jake in there, he is capable of killing.
But he didn't end up doing it.
But
But he would have.
he would have.
And I like that about him.
And
I
what
like
he-
that he took the heat for
Even
her.
what he did, that
That's
he took
how much
the
he
heat.
loved her.
Yeah, that's the thing is he took the heat.
This is hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I do love them both.
I like a dark romance in a small town.
Yes.
That's the problem.
I have some recommendations for you.
Because when I think small town, the problem is it starts going to
this one's really hard for
Christmas
me.
Hallmark movie. It's like Hallmark movie-esque where it's like, oh, I own the pumpkin patch. Hey, big city girl. I'm small
I own
town
an inn
boy.
or I'm a veterinarian.
Yeah.
That's it
Yeah.
right there. With
So like small town can get too sweet, cinnamony sweet.
You know what people love about the small, or what I think people love about a small town is found family.
Oh, okay.
People, because there's always like the characters in town and everybody knows you and you already it doesn't take effort to go out and build the community. The
Right.
community's built in for you and they're all going to love you no matter what. That's also, I think, the appeal to small town.
That's why I wanted Lee coming
still
back.
I'm going to write
to
dark.
town.
I'm
Like
just
she's
gonna
been
have to go
gone for a
dark.
while. Reverse harem.
You're writing as like a doctor.
Oh, I'll write like a third
writing a
grader.
prescription.
Slow burn age gap.
Ooh, I like
tough
slow.
though.
I'm going to go slow burn.
I'm going to slow burn, but personally, I'm an age gap
yeah,
guy.
I mean,
because
isn't there an age gap with
There is
you?
a little age gap between me and my wife, but I'm going love story. I love a slow burn.
I love a slow burn too. Yours was kind of a slow burn.
Yeah, it was, and that's kind of like Harry Met Sally and all that. It's like
You know what you did a lot too that I loved? The time jumps. That's hard to do in a book.
you had to not get go
No,
back.
but you did it well,
Yeah.
and that's also
Thank
hard to
you.
do in a book.
Billionaire, and
Thank you. Forced proximity. You know what? I can get over billionaire for now. Let's go forced proximity. I like a good forced proximity / one bed. Yes. Now we have to decide. We're taking.
I'm going single dad. So I went single dad is going to take on. What do you think? I think we go slow
burn.
Slow burn.
Yeah.
Because that's when Harry Met Sally. It's Notting Hill. It's all great. All
Okay.
great love stories.
I'm gonna go soulmates. I'm a sucker.
I mean, it has to be a slow burn because if not, Act 1, it's like it's over.
No,
Soulmates.
sometimes it's like a one night stand, and then the whole rest of the book.
Oh, it's kind of coming back.
Yeah, and I like that
But
too.
then the rest of the book's a slow burn.
Yes. All right, I gotta go soulmates.
And then who's down below? We got dark romance and forced proximity.
I think dark.
Yeah, I think we got to go. I think you have to go slow burn.
Yes, I'm for it.
Okay, slow burn taking on who in the championship? Dark? Is it dark because that's kind of the thing now?
It is kind of the thing now. I'm going to go dark. I'm going to go dark and dirty, baby.
Okay. Now, who wins the cup? Slow burn.
Slow burn. I'm going to say slow burn.
Yeah, because we are children of the 80s and 90s, and this is the way.
This is it.
There's our
win.
That's the championship. Slow burn.
Slow burn. Chris wins. Well, I feel like we both win because we both love a slow burn.
Everyone loves a slow burn.
So at the end of the show, we always say, what made your heart race this week? We call it Happily Ever Faster.
What is making my heart race this week is my love, Lauren Zima, and I hosting Experience Camps Gala. We are doing a gala here in Austin, Texas, because we're opening up a camp.
Talk about Experience Camps.
Real quick, I'll give you the 30,000 foot level so we don't take up too much time, but it is a camp that they have camps all across the country, but we are opening up one in Texas for kids who have lost a parent or sibling at a young age. The campers start around 8. You can go till your summer of your junior year of high school. And then after you can become a junior counselor and you can continue on. But it's camps for these kids to come in and learn resilience and be surrounded by others who have been through something like you. Because a lot of these kids get laughed at or come from bullying, and because no one else in your world has ever been through this. So they'll go to school and say,
it's just nice to connect to people who understand, I think, too.
Of course, you're surrounded, and so you can just drop your shoulders and be yourself, and it's fun. It's not, yes, they have grief counseling, they're surrounded by counselors, and they get that help, but they're also just going through camp stuff. They're in a lake, they're in a river, they're having a good time, and they're doing camp stuff, and Lauren has implemented theater, and so...
I love that.
Yes.
Tell me how she obviously inspired this in you a couple years ago.
Lauren lost her dad when she was younger, her dad Gary, and it was such a part of her life, and she didn't get all the help she needed, and she wished there was something like that, and they actually slid into her DMs, and they said, look, we've heard your grief story a lot, you're really brave, and you talk a lot about it. And as Lauren tends to do, she's like, well, I would love to come be a part of this. Then she went to be a counselor.
I love that. She just went right in.
Now she's on the board. Now we are opening up a camp in Texas. So this thing has happened quickly.
How many are there now?
They are, I want to say 6 or 7 across the country, from Maine all the way to California, but there's none in Texas. Texas is unbelievably underserved in the grief space. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of grief from Uvalde
Oh my God, the floods.
The floods this summer. And so we're talking to those families, but these kids need a space to go and be themselves.
They do.
And you truly see
it's heartbreaking
you
too.
see their lives change. You see these kids change and become strong. And because as Lauren teaches me about grief, it's something you're not going to cure. It's not going away, but it's something we're all going to suffer in our lives at some point.
That's true.
And it's this river that is ever changing. Sometimes it's placid and peaceful and you're good. You can even laugh about it all. And then sometimes it hits you like a ton of bricks. So you have to learn how to deal with that and live with that, because it's not going away. And these kids are given those tools, and it's fascinating and it's beautiful to watch.
I love that you're so involved with that. And that you
we're
guys
all in.
they're doing it together and stuff too.
And so we're luckily our thing is this Thursday. It's sold out, and we're making huge inroads and waves here in Austin, Texas, and then all throughout Texas. We're going to go down to Houston, up to Dallas, Fort Worth, and get everybody involved, because we want to open up multiple.
Yeah.
Texas is big. I don't know if you guys know this. Texas is big.
It's enormous.
So we need some South Texas. We need some North Texas. We want to spread this out.
I love that. Well, that's
what
definitely
made
a
my
great
heart race.
thing to have your heart race. Do I have to say what made my heart race? Because I can't compete with that.
No, you have to. Because I hope it's something cheesy about Colby, but
it's always something. Oh, you know what? So Colby and I got married legally 7 months before our actual wedding. And it was mostly just like, oh, I had better health insurance than him because he was starting his former company at the time, or it was like in its early stages with nothing. I don't remember why else we did it. We had like a couple of just logical reasons. So that anniversary was actually on Sunday. And I because we've had so much going on, it kind of slipped my mind because I usually focus on the May anniversary. He not only remembered, and this was such a great IRL love story moment of my husband, he gave me a sweet card, and then he bought me my very first, and I'm embarrassed to admit it, Kindle.
Oh,
And I had to go and get the accessories, and now it's like clipped to
on.
my bed, and I can like lay there and just read it without moving with a remote control clicker.
this is
Him remembering and just like getting that like that thoughtful
It's the little
moment.
things.
It is the little things.
The little things.
It's the little things. I don't need all the fireworks,
No.
but just remembering
Nobody
little things like
does.
that about knowing you
Yeah.
is everything. So that made my heart race.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me in.
Good. Yes, yes.
Truly
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Can we hug it out?